Hello beautiful people, it's your girl Pretty Choice and you're welcome to my channel. How are you all doing? I hope you all are doing well. So guys, in today's video we're going to be talking about this lady that says there's difference between white mama biracials and black mama biracials. So guys, I don't really know why all this thing is like bringing more attention and all those all over TikTok, and I came across this video and I thought I should bring it to you guys. And I also want to know your opinion about this video, and and I don't want to reveal more details about this video, so I'm just going to leave you guys to enjoy the show. And I want to know what you think about this video by dropping down your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, keep watching me, keep supporting your girl. Without further review, I will see you all in my next one. Bye.
Okay, I wanted to share another controversial opinion I have, and it's not really controversial because I think it's straight facts, and I'm sure there's many people on TikTok that have noticed this or talked about this with their friends, because me and my best friend used to talk about this and notice this all the time. I call it white mom syndrome, and it's referring to when a mixed person that's white and black, when their mom is white, they will always like white women. That is because their idea of beauty comes from their mom. Heterosexual men that are mixed with a white mom, their first idea of beauty comes from that white mother. So thus in the future, when they start to form romantic relationships and crushes, they will like white women because they're like a reflection of their mom. And I remember years ago I wrote an article about how people fall in love with their parents, kind of, I think. Don't site check me, but apply that to any mixed white mom, black dad combo male you got, heterosexual, and I bet you that'll be their choice of woman. So, yeah. Don't beat me up in the comments, guys. I think hopefully I have a community that agrees with me on this one.
So you know how we be kikiing that there's a difference between white mama biracials and black mama biracials, right?
I don't care who you are, go watch that video. The creator talks about the difference between black mama biracials and white mama biracials as being able to be linked back to times of slavery because of sociopolitical conditions. It is. And one of the reasons that outcomes are different is because white mama biracials are raised in households where no one can teach them about blackness because the white mother can't and the black father is too busy pandering to whiteness. I have something to add to this conversation, but first, story time. If you follow my page, you know by now that I'm a white mama biracial. I was basically raised exclusively in whiteness for the majority of my life, but for the first 9 years of my life before my parents split up, I was in a household with an immigrant black father who was actively engaged in our family. And yet for those first 9 years of my life, we never spoke about blackness, culture, race, nothing. Fam, I literally did not even know I could be considered as black until around the age of like 9 or 10 after my dad left. And I was just then always around white people. And one of my peers was like, "Are you adopted?" And I was like, "Huh? Why would I be adopted?" And they're like, "Well, because your whole family's white and you're black." I was like, "I'm what?" It literally had never dawned on me before. And no one was around to help guide me or help me process it. So the child's mind just... So fast forward, a couple decades go by of just massive internalized racism and zero guidance. I finally was in a place where I just had to take this journey by myself into claiming my blackness and understanding my culture and learning about black history, because it became abundantly clear that neither of my parents was interested or willing to have those conversations or that experience with me. This also happened to be right around the time that I got pregnant. And so this is what I want to add to the conversation, which is I think about all the time how different that outcome is going to be for my child now. Had I never gone down this journey, then I would be a black mother raising a mixed race child, but without the same outcome as the black mama biracials, because I wasn't black. I had no connection to it whatsoever. I was black on the outside and raising a child in complete white culture. And this is not a unique experience. I am not alone in this. So there's going to be an entire generation of children, Generation Alpha and beyond, who are going to have the black mother versus white mother, mixed race, biracial, parental makeup, but not have the same outcomes as the black mother biracials, because so many of us are so disconnected.
It's been a while. So I want to talk about the big elephant in the room when it comes to mixed people, right? oh, you can tell who has a white mom and who has a black mom. Yeah, you can. The ones with white moms, a lot of times, they're either so aware, like painfully aware of what it's like having a white mom, or so on the other end of the spectrum. Like, there's no in between. And it's painfully true. The one thing, the major difference I feel like, and I've seen another creator talk about this, is like black moms might drop the ball on like regular parenting shit, like as does everyone else, but they never drop the ball. They never drop the ball on raising their kids to be confident in themselves as far as their race. Like, they never let their kids grow up confused about who the fuck they are racially and ethnically. Like, I just don't see it happening. Black women are the most aware of their race and their gender. Like, we literally have to be hyper vigilant about how we experience life. And so black women have to raise their kids in a world where everyone else will be trying to tell them who they are. I feel like black moms are like, no, like, this is who you are, you need to stand in that. White moms, a lot of the time I just see, are so fucking clueless. I'm sorry to say it, but like, they have these kids for sport, right? Like, they're like, oh, like, this black guy is so fucking hot, and wouldn't our babies be so cute? And they raise their kids like not knowing who they are, not knowing how to identify. A lot of times they'll raise their kids around all white people, which is even more confusing. And personally, like, my dad also dropped the ball. Like, we can blame him too. I just feel like it's not fair. Like, I didn't consent to having a white mom. And I wish white women were more careful about who they had kids with. Because you have to transform your entire life. You have to unlearn every fucking thing that you've ever learned if you want to have a child with someone from a different culture. I would never, like, for instance, be with someone who's Asian and be like, but I'm not going to give up any of my prior cultural practices, and you need to assimilate with mine. Like, I would never do that. I would be willing to uproot my entire life to make sure that my kids were accepted, at the very least, within their family. A lot of mixed kids with white moms do not get the same grace. They just don't. White moms, not all, because I know some who do the damn thing, but it's very rare. It's very rare. And I just don't see black moms struggling with that.
It's just funny to me that people are running to create biracials, but then when we try to talk about the shit experiences we're offered by our family or by our parents, it's like, no. Better seen, not heard. We just wanted you because you were cute, as if there's not other cute babies that we can maybe not racially traumatize. Like, I do agree with sis now. I do not recommend being biracial because no one will let you share your experiences. And based off of the, demographics I'm talking about, black dad, white mom, I understand why they don't let us talk, because those two groups think they're above reproach. So when you try to share the low grade experiences they gave you, everyone's like, aren't you biracial? If you didn't like interracial relationships, you wouldn't be here. Yeah, I could have had two normal parents.
I do hear it a lot, especially from biracial people whose moms are white also. I feel like this can go two ways. The first way is if you're in a household with two parents, a white mom and a white dad, then obviously it's the father's responsibility to bring his culture, into the relationship, the family, and to help the kids express and understand being part black. Likewise, the mother to express her side, whatever that might be, Italian, French, whatever. So I think that's the first thing, if you have two parents in the household. The second thing is that if you don't, and just the mother is white but the father is absent, then you run into a bit of a problem. And it depends on what the absence is actually for. Is the absence because the father doesn't want to be a part of the child's life, and so they've boned out and they're gone? Or is it that the mother doesn't want the father in the child's life, which was my case? So then the responsibility fell on my mother to try and teach me the cultural ways. But judging by the fact that, you know, she didn't want them part of my life, I don't think that was really high on her priority list to really teach us true African American culture. And by true African American culture, I don't mean, you know, superficial things like hair and clothing. I mean like works of art, literature, our ancestors, the people who came before us and paved the way for people of color to live a better life. So that wasn't emphasized very much. And you're right, I don't have to live in the past any longer. However, the echoes of the past are very clear in my present day. And so I'm working very hard to construct my life in a way in which I am able to empathize and to accept who I am and to see the bigger picture and not be, you know, chained down by no pun intended, but really chained down by the rigid ideologies that my grandmother really pushed in my life.
When people say that biracial people with white moms versus black moms have different experiences and are different, that is true and valid. And it hurts to hear, but if you had a white mother, chances are your mother did not sufficiently teach you about being black. I mean, it's almost impossible for her to do that because she's not. The way you perceive the world as a child is going to be somewhat through her lens. And often this instills a false sense of entitlement, privilege, and whiteness into you. And yeah, whereas if you had a black mother, it's more common for them to teach you about being black and how you have to work 10 times harder to get where you need to be. But if you have a white mother, you think that that is deserved or just handed to you upon birth, and it's not. There's a list of things I could say.
For one, I just want to say that the video I posted was just an inside joke between me and my family. I didn't realize that that many people were going to get a chance to see it. And, you know, clearly if I did, I would have worded it better. But basically, I've noticed that people are always saying, like, black comes in every shade, black looks different on everybody, right? Until they see someone who they think doesn't fit their idea of blackness. When my mom is black, you could clearly see she has an afro, for one, and her dad is black, but just because she came out light-skinned, a lot of people are saying that she isn't black. I think it's really unfair that so many of you were denying her blackness just because she's light-skinned. And it's just really hurtful to the black community because you have other kids who have one black parent and one white parent, and they have to deal with these kinds of comments too. Well, am I not black because I'm half white? No, that's not how it works. And then a lot of people are also saying, yeah, she's biracial, as if that's like an argument against what I'm saying. I'm like, yes, she's biracial. You can't just take out the bi in biracial and say that she's only white just because you can't see her blackness, even though it's clear as day. But basically just think about what you say before posting it online, you know? Use common sense and stuff. And stop invalidating mixed people. Just because you don't think they look black enough for you doesn't mean that they aren't black. You can't just invalidate someone's whole racial identity just because you don't agree with them. It doesn't work that way, guys.
So let's talk about the biracial children being treated a different type of way by darker toned communities. There's a lot of white moms out here that agree with that video that's going around about how they are raising their biracial children. You can raise your child however you feel appropriate, but understand that your biracial child is going to have challenges with the darker toned community for the lack of relatable experiences. Okay? Like, let's stop being so closed-minded to the fact that your biracial child, yes, although they are black and will be seen as black in the world, they still have an upper leg based off the fact that you're white.
Okay, I'm gonna reply to this one with a video because I feel like it's important and it's just way too much for the comment section. Because I see it's a frenzy going on in the comment section. I saw another TikToker in the comments talking to this TikToker here, and she used Mariah Carey as a example, which is a perfect example. I'm somebody that's known that she was half black for a long time, but she's white passing. Even with the tint in her skin, she still looks white. There's not much difference between her and her. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how nobody understands that. And they keep on saying that I'm the same complexion as them, and what are they talking about? Like, y'all looking picture to picture. I've stood next to these people my whole life. It's a fact. I'm darker than them. Like, I'm the same color as them. They're not even the same color as each other. So, alright. But I digress. Back to the comment. But this is my outlook on this question. First of all, I wasn't singling out mixed people with white moms. I saw the video like everybody else. And I said, that remind me of Zakiya and Cesare. They just happen to have a white mom, just like the video said. Now, if it was vice versa and they still acted like that, I would have just used the video and said, like, no, I think this go on both sides of the board because, but that's not the case. Just like not all mixed people with white moms act like that, I'm sure there's mixed people with black moms that act like that. I'm not just saying just y'all. Like, it's impossible for me to say that. I don't know enough of y'all to be able to say that. Like I said, having a white parent doesn't not make you black. To me, I feel like black dominates everything it touches. Now, your blackness gets invalidated as a mixed person once you start acting fucking... You start giving palm color characteristics, then we just know, okay, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And that's what makes you start being called and not... It has nothing to do with what parent is white or what parent is black. It's how the fuck you acting. Because at the end of the day, once you start giving off palm colored characteristics, we don't care which one of your parents is black or white because you acting real entitled and privileged right now. And we all know that once you start acting like that, regardless which one of your parents is white, that whichever one is white, that's where the fuck it's coming from. Like, I'm literally sitting here thinking in my head, like, how many biracial black people do I know? It ain't many. Off the top of my head right now, I can't think of none other than my cousins. But I know for a fact, because of my experience with the ones that I know and the experiences that my other black counterparts have had with the people they know, that not all mixed people identify as black.
So I don't understand how putting your mixed race children, in front of people, I don't know how that benefits your mixed race children, but it's really weird to me. Growing up in parts of the South, when I was young, there were Klan marches. There would be Klan marches in town. And when we would drive, we would see Klan members, and my family would maybe sometimes get down on the bottom of the car because they were worried about my safety. They didn't throw me in front of people and say, hey, look what I have. So it's weird to me. And growing up mixed, I never once wanted to be white. I never once felt less than about myself. All I wanted and all I asked for was, I want to know where my black side is, and I want to know about my black side, and I want to know how to do my hair. And that's what I wanted to know, not I wanted to be white or anything like that. So it's weird to me what I'm seeing.